Hi everybody, hi. Let me just do a quick check to make sure I'm live in the right place. Looks like I am. Let's just see. Says I am, but I can't find the video. Hold on, bear with me a minute. Oh, there we go. Looks like it's registered. There we go. So, yep, that's it. We are in the right place. So, if you're joining me live tonight, then this is going to be our June monthly card club. I know it's July, but last month was so unbearably hot here in the UK that I decided to postpone it for a week because I thought with the glare of the lights and everything, and I've got a big glass lantern in the ceiling and it just was too hot to work really. So it is June's monthly card club despite the fact that it is July. So you are in the right place. If you're joining me live and you're going to be doing some crafting tonight because you've got a kit in the post, then do go into the comments and say hi so I know who's crafting with me. That would be lovely. Hi Sally, hi. And if you're watching on the replay, then this is going to be a recording of a live craft along style craft class. So we're going to be using the Lily of the Valley suite, and I'll be showing you a bit more detail about that in a moment. But it's from this current Stampin' Up catalogue. Let me just find the pages so you can have a look if you have a paper catalogue and you can see what products we are going to be using. So it's called Valley in Bloom and it's on page 22 and 23 of the catalogue. Hi Dee, hi. So yes, so if you're joining tonight for some crafting and you were intending to join last week, then I apologise. But from all the messages that I got from you all, I'm thinking that everybody else was also flagging last Thursday evening and enjoyed a bit of crafting respite. Not something I'd usually advocate, but it was just so unbearably hot. I just thought I can't do this really. And in fact, Mum was staying and Evelyn, Mum and I sat out in the garden until it was dark. We were playing Yahtzee. It was really good. I'm just trying to keep cool. But it's much better this week, isn't it? I'm assuming everybody is enjoying the slightly lower temperatures this week. And although I think next week it's supposed to go back up to the 30s again. So that might be a bit tough for us, but never mind. We're a bit better prepared now. We've got ice in the freezer. Evelyn and I both had a shearing today, so we're very short-haired now. She had it with purpose because it's prom on Monday, but I just desperately needed a cut. And that helps, doesn't it? So that's good. Okay, so before we get crafting, let me tell you what is new in Stampin' Up land. So let's have a quick look and see what is new. So there's not a new joining offer, but there's a slightly new joining process. So you will get a bit more if you rejoin. I know probably everybody on here has joined at least once, and you've got a few extra goodies if you join from now onwards. So anytime anybody joins in the future. We've got lots of new products out. So we've got new kits, including a memory keeping kit, which is in a ring binder, which is really good and really, really different. Lots of opportunity for you to kind of put your own stamp on it and make it what you want. We've got new card making craft along kits as well. We've got new paper pumpkin that if you subscribe now before the 11th of July, you will get July's paper pumpkin, which is a floral theme and it's really beautiful. Really, they're cards that stand up. I can't find a better way to describe that. What are they called? Easel cards, obviously, easel cards. Yeah, they're really, really nice. So we've got new kits, we've got new products, we've got new online exclusives, lots of summery kind of inspiration, sunglasses, flip-flops, fruit, all kinds of things like that, lots of florals and things. There's a new craft class available online as well. It's called Pretty Poinsettia. So if you are into kind of Christmas in June, July, August, kind of getting ready for Christmas early, there's a new online craft class with Pretty Poinsettias, which is from the online exclusive. So have a look on all of this information is on the Stampin' Up website. So if you go there, it'll all be on there. And there's also, because we're right at the beginning of July, there's a new product of the month. So for the last few months and going forwards, every time your order is over £70, you can choose the current or any previous products of the month for £5. We've had stamps, we've had what else have we had? We've had stamps, we've had embossing folders, we've had die cut embossing folders, we've had papers. So there's always quite a variety to choose from. And this time's, I'm just looking at my laptop now, this time's product of the month is a stamp set called Begonia Bell. So it's, as you might expect, 2-stage stamping begonia, flowers and leaves and sentiments and all those bits. So I guess that's probably most of the Stampin' Up news. One little bit, or a couple of little bits of news from me. There will be a class in July, at the end of July, and I will show you what we're going to be making before we finish, because it's the beautiful new, similarly from this catalogue, flocked papers. So like, think flocked wallpaper, only prettier. And I'll show you some of the things that I've made with it. It's really beautiful paper. It's just come back in stock. If anybody's been online and was waiting for it to come back in stock, it's just come back in stock. So that's really good. And we've got a little box to make next month, as well as some cards. So that'll be lovely. And I'll show you some samples, like I say, at the end. And what else do I need to tell you? I've just got my Christmas advert all set up. So in the same way that I did last year, I'm holding the price, the same price as it was last year. So it'll be £45 for a whole day of crafting, massive goodie bag, prizes on the day, extra treats, all the usual. It will be in Lechlade Pavilion, so the same hall that we were in last year. And I'm also going to do the same offer that I did last year. So when the sign up comes out on the 1st of August, if you book during August, you'll have until the end of September to pay to confirm your place. But if you book during August, pay by the end of September, you will get a free product in your kit that is Christmas crafting related. So something that you can use for your makes. So that might be paper, it might be bling, it might be ribbon, it could be, I haven't seen the new catalogue yet, so I don't know what's available to know what we might have to choose from. But I will get everybody a freebie if you sign up during August, pay before the end of September. So you'll get an email about that on the 1st of August that will tell you all the details. So that's fine. And then the final thing from me before we get crafting is just to say that for next month at the moment, and I appreciate that is probably because we haven't done the online yet, but I've only got 2 people signed up. So if you want to craft with me next month and get your kit in the post, or come and collect your kit, or come here and craft in person in the morning, then I need you please to sign up using the sign up form. There's just too much going on in my world at the moment for me to remember when people, I randomly see people, or they text me and say, oh, can I come? I want to join in. If you want to be part of next month, I need you to put your details on the sign up form. It takes like a couple of minutes to fill in, and there will be a reminder email coming out tomorrow, so you don't have to go searching through your inbox. You'll get a reminder email tomorrow, because tomorrow is the last day to book and pay for next month's card club. So that'd be wonderful if you can help me with that. That'd be fab. Right, let's get crafting. Okay, so there's no Evelyn this week. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and I'll show you what I've got. All you can see is my wall for a moment while I unscrew my stand. There we go. Okie dokie, let's have a look and see. Let's try and get the camera in the right place for starters. That would be good. Push my water out the way a minute. And then I can budge you up a bit. That's better. Get the paper in shot. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? There we go. That's a lot better. Okay. So like I said, it's this catalogue that we are using tonight. This is the suite, Valley in Bloom. We're going to be using all 3 elements from the suite. Well, I'm going to be using the stamp set, obviously. But you've also got some additional papers in your kit. So right at the bottom of page 23 here, you've got these papers that are foiled. So these are white squares in your kit. Hi, Mum. And the white squares that are in your kit, you can colour them. So I will show you some samples later on. We're not going to make anything with the white squares today, but I will explain how you can colour them and I will show you some samples where I've coloured them. Really clever stuff, really clever stuff. So yeah, so that's, these are all the things. There's a scrapbook kit that goes with this suite as well. Really beautiful. And then you've got, so the suite consists of the stamp set, which is this one here. So you've got a happy birthday in there and you've got a little thanks, grateful for you, happy for you, friend. So you've got a couple of kind of the usual sentiments. These stamps can be coloured. And I've shown you some examples where I've stamped these images and coloured them. And they're really lovely. So that's the stamp set. You then have lots of samples from the die set, which we're going to use tonight. This die set, I have to say, prepping for this class took me forever because these little bells here that are the bells of the Lily of the Valley flowers, they cut out 3 at a time, but each stem needs 3 of these. And you've got, I believe, 3 stems. So when you multiply all of that up, it was over 200 bells I had to cut. So it took me forever. Hi, Julie. Hi. So yeah, so you've got some of those dies, and obviously some of the dies cut out the stamped images as well. And then the third element of this suite is this really beautiful floral spray 3D embossing folder. So you've got a central flower and then you've got lots of little Lily of the Valleys coming off this central flower. And you've got one of these in your kit as well. It's quite a large, look, if you look at that against the size of the page of the catalogue, it's quite a large embossing folder. So you can do a lot with it, which is really good. So that's the elements along with the papers. So let's get that out of the way for a moment. And these are the 3 cards that we're going to make tonight. So we're going to start off with this one, which will use all the white elements from your kit. And we're going to colour them using a blending brush. So you are going to need one of these and some ink. Or, I mean, you can leave it white, obviously, if you want to. I've also used some pens to colour the actual Lily of the Valley itself. Or you could use a dauber or tissue or whatever you usually use for blending. So completely your choice, but we're going to do some blending with this card. Then we're going to make, this one is called a fault line card. So we're going to do some tearing. And we're going to do some torn paper, but also card, but also you can see that we're going to be using the embossing folder to do that, to create that torn effect. You don't have any white string in your kit because I ran out basically once I'd made all of mine. So if you've got some white twine and you want to add some twine or ribbon, feel free. But you do have these beautiful little dots that go with the colours of the suite as well. So you've got that to use. You've also got down the bottom here, I hope you can see that, you've got like this kind of like hatched, it's like a mesh kind of effect, piece of die cut. You've only got one of these, and yet on my samples, just to be awkward, I've used it twice. You can see there's a second one here. So you can choose to put it on either or. Basically, once I'd cut all 200 flowers, I kind of had lost the will to live at that point. So I didn't cut any more of these meshy things because I also have to poke all the bits out to get the die to run cleanly again the next time. Anyway, and then this is the third card that we're going to do. So you're going to be using your coloured stems, and then we're going to add the white bells on the top and your green leaves. Okay, you've also got some punched pieces. So you've got 3 of these little shapes in your kit, and that is because I have purchased a new punch, so I thought I would share it with you. And that is this punch. So let me show you that bit so it doesn't shine on the camera. So it's 3 different kind of banners, and you've got one of each of the banners. So you can use those for your sentiments if you want to. Okay, so that is what we are going to be doing tonight. So let's start with this one, the blended card. And we are going to need, let's have a little look here. So we're going to need, I've got lots of bits in my pack. I'm just going to get it all out so that I don't miss any bits. Oh, got lots of spare card in here as well. Evelyn made hers last week, basically, so hence why my pack is a bit of a mess, because all of her leftovers go in my pack. Right, so you're going to need your piece of, what colour is it? Coastal Cabana cardstock. And you're also going to need, there it is, you're going to need, from this little bag of goodies, you're going to need your postage stamp die cut piece, that one. While you're in that little bag, you're going to need your white Lily of the Valley and both of the Lily of the Valley white leaves as well. We'll come back to all these pieces as we go along, so don't worry. If you've forgotten what we're supposed to be getting out as we go along, do not panic. And then you don't need any separate petals for this one, but you also will need one or more of your little labels as well, okay? And then, let me get some of these bits out of the way, and then you're also going to need some patterned paper, of course, this piece. So you will have a piece of patterned paper in your kit that looks like this on the front and looks like that on the back. So it's got like a gingham, Bermuda Bay kind of, a Coastal Cabana, sorry, check on the back, okay? You've got a full sheet. This is the leftover of Evelyn's sheet, but that's what we're going to need, all right? So let's just go through those pieces again. So you've got your card base, Coastal Cabana, so you can fold and crease that in half using your bone folder. Let's just get that creased nice and flat. And then you're going to need your stamp, your postage stamp die cut piece, some gingham, Coastal Cabana colour gingham paper, which on the back has the very busy bouquets of Lily of the Valley, but we're going to use this side. And then your various white bits, so your 2 leaves, 2 white leaves, your whole lily of the valley that's white, and then at least one of your labels for your sentiment, but we'll choose which label to use later, I think. So once you've got all those pieces, the first thing you're going to do is cut your patterned paper. Let me just get my trimmer down. And it's a standard first layer size. So your standard first layer, which is, and I would cut it, personally, to save paper, I would cut it so that your long edge is at the top first, and cut it to 9.9 centimetres, which is also 3 7/8 of an inch. So 9.9 centimetres, standard first layer size, and then by 14.3, which is 5 5/8 of an inch. So just to give yourself enough of a little border around the edge, and then you can get rid of put your trimmer to the side and get rid of your patterned paper, the rest of your patterned paper for it. So it's 14.3 centimetres by 9.9, and then this layer goes flat down on your card first. And we'll do all the blending together in a moment, the blending and the colouring, but we'll just get these basics done first. So just a little bit of a border around the edge, flat down on your card. Lovely. And then once you've got that first layer in place, you can put that out of the way, because we don't want that to get ink on it. You're then going to bring in your white elements. So you've got your 2 leaves, you've got your flowers and your postage stamp. And we're going to work on the blending first. So I'm just going to open my ink pad. And in fact, let's just pull the flowers out of the way a minute. So we'll colour those last. Get them out of the way for a minute. So I'm going to just lightly dust the surface of the blending brush with some ink. Take off kind of the top surface, and then just going for a kind of very light covering in the centre of my postage stamp. And the more you go round with these blending brushes, the more the ink colour will build up. All you're looking for is a little kind of haze that's going to sit behind your flowers. So keep going round and round in circles instead of kind of lines, or you want to go across what you've blended, up, down and sideways. And then you should see that you've got just that very kind of light dusting of colour there. Yep. So pop that one to one side, and then we can work on the leaves next. I don't think really there's a right way or a wrong way up for these leaves, but you may choose differently, but personally I don't think there is. Anyway, bit more colour again. I'm going to start at the bottom of the leaf, what's going to be my bottom of my leaf, and work my way up. I'm going to do more colour at the bottom. I'm not going to reach the top. I'm going to do more colour at the bottom and not reach the top. Same on the other leaf. Start at the bottom. Still keeping going round. You have to be a bit careful with these because obviously they're a bit more delicate being thinner die cuts, but I'm not going to reach the top of the leaf. Just a little indication of colour as we go up, but definitely stronger colour at the bottom, lighter as you go up. There we go. And then so there's your leaf. Okay. And that is all the blending that you need to do. So at that point, you can fold your ink pad, get it out of the way, get rid of your blending brush because you don't want to, you know, inadvertently get ink on anything. So get all of that out of the way. And then the final thing that you've got to colour is your white Lily of the Valley. So I am going to use two Stampin' Blends pens. For the stems, I am using Granny Apple Green because this comes from this suite. So I'm using light Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to go with the brush end just lightly over the top. And once I've done this, I have a top tip for you about these. So just over the top of the stems, not onto the petals at all, not onto the flowers, but all the way down. It's where you need a little bit of scrap or something, glass mat or something underneath. So that's all for the stem. Now you can leave them obviously completely white, but I've just added a little bit of blue to the tops. So I'm using light balmy blue. So I'm just doing a little bit at the very cap of the bell of the petal, just right at the very top of the flower. Just adds a little bit of definition, as if it's just kind of bursting into flower, that's all. Now my top tip for this is this Granny Apple Green pen has been around with me for quite a while, and the brush end had got to the point where it was quite fluffy on the end. Now if you've got any Stampin' Blends, this is quite possibly happening to yours as well, because the more you use them, and let's be honest, they are amazing, so why wouldn't you use them? You know, I use them lots when I'm doing colouring projects. Then, you know, the brush end does tend to get a bit fluffy. So all I've done is bought from Amazon some Olo marker brush tip replacements. I can't honestly tell you how much they were, but I think I got 10 in a pack, something like that. And they were super quick here because they were Amazon, and they come with a little mini pair of tweezers. You pull the old nib out, push the new nib in, put the cap on. Obviously the new nib is white, it's got no ink on it. Stand it up that way for a few minutes to allow the ink to catch in the new nib, and then as you can see, it just turns the nib whatever colour ink your pen is, and away you go, and it's like having a brand new Stampin' Blend, let me tell you. I'm really hoping at some point that Stampin' Up will do these tip replacements as well, because they're fantastic. So if anybody is having the same trouble and wants the link, let me know and I'll send you the Amazon link. Anyway, enough Amazon chat. There we go. So that's all your components done there. Let me have a little slurp of water a moment while you're all catching up with that. And then the only other thing to do is to stamp a sentiment. So I've got 3 here, and I'm going to have a look at the sentiments in the stamp set and see if I want to choose one of these. So the sentiments are to one of the nicest people I know, which is what I put on my original card. Happy for you, so grateful for you, happy birthday, a little thanks, and to a forever kind of friend. So let's see what will fit on these. Ooh, a little thanks would fit on. Might put that on. Might put a little thanks on. As I need some thank you cards at the moment. There we go. I'm just going to get a stamping mat as well. So I've got something firm to stamp on. Yeah. So I'm just going to go with black ink over the top here. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. A little thanks, that'd be fine. Okie dokie. Right, let's just clean that up a minute. I don't know about anybody else either, but I'm finding that my ink is really kind of adhering really firmly to my stamps in this hotter weather as well. If I don't clean my stamps off straight away, then the ink seems to kind of weld itself to the stamp, which is pretty annoying actually. So there we go, I've got my little thanks. I'll save those. A couple of sentiments. Punched bits for later. Right, okay. So now we can get to work constructing everything. You're going to need some 3D pads for this. So I'm going to use 3D strips for the back of the stamp because I want to cover quite a large area. Square corners, so easy to do. So I'm going to tear off some strips. And put them down the edges. Bit in the middle. Bit around the corner. There we go. Who's crafting along tonight? Who have we got? Or is everybody still too hot and just watching? Excuse me. So my stamp goes flat in the middle. And then all of these are also on 3D pads. So I've got the backs of my leaves to cover and the backs of my little petals. So I'm going to use small, the mini dimensionals for the backs of the leaves. Oh, Sally ears and Dee ears. Oh, wonderful. That's good then. I'm not on my own. That's wonderful. And I know Mum said she was going to do some other ones. She came to the in-person last week, but she's going to do some extras with the... You'll have loads of bits left over from your kit. And on the email that I sent, I've taken photographs of all of the extras that I've made with the remains of the kit. So do have a look at the extra ones that I made, because I was able to make loads. And I will show you the extra cards that I made in a moment, but you have got photographs of them on your email, so you can then kind of zoom in and really... if you want to case anything, just help yourselves. I'm going to also show you this really clever one sheet wonder that I made as well, that I found on Pinterest, that was just like too good not to do really. Right, now with these petals, you just need to be careful that stick the top flower on first, because they will distort a little bit, because obviously the stem is very, very delicate. So just stick the top petal on first and then work your way down. Don't worry about the fact that you've got nothing on the bottom of the stem. Oh, who else is here? Oh, Kelly, I'm in the motorhome in Dawlish. Oh, I'm lovely. Oh, to be in Dawlish tonight. How lovely. Well, that's fabulous. Well, have a paddle for me, Kelly. Yeah, don't worry about the bottom of the stem, because it's you're not going to need to worry about that. It'll be covered up by the label, so don't worry that it's not got 3D pads on it or anything. Need to find some large ones again as well. Okay, so I'm just going to stick these leaves on. There we go. just either side. You can poke them behind the petals if you want. Whatever works for you. Can I get it behind? Just about. Don't forget you want your additional colour at the bottom and the white bit at the top of your petals, so that they look like they've come fresh out the ground. So make sure you get it up the right way before you stick it on. And then some 3D pads on either end of your label, so that your label then can float over the top of the base of your leaves and the base of your stem as well. So I'm just going to take those bits off and then just have that floating over the top to kind of contain everything together there. There we go. And that's our first card made. Ta-da! All done. Now, in your kit, you've also got some bling. So let me show you the bling, because it is rather beautiful. You have got these. These come as part of the suite. They're like sparkly kind of dots. I didn't put any on this original one, but now that I have made two, I've decided I am going to put some on. So I'm going to put the two different colours. So I'm going to put white on one, and I'm going to put the Coastal Cabana on the other, and you tell me which one you think looks best. Because the white is absolutely beautiful, but equally so is the Coastal Cabana. So let's try both and see which one we like the best. I just love the fact that it's got a little sparkle in it. There we go. Which one do you think? Which do you prefer? The white bling or the Coastal Cabana bling? Let's have a vote and see. So if you like the white bling, give me a thumbs up. And if you prefer the Coastal Cabana bling, then give me a heart instead. Let's see what we've got. So we've got white. White is for thumbs up, and Coastal Cabana is a heart. Which do you prefer? Oh, we've got a heart, so that's that one, Coastal Cabana. Everyone's now trying to find the reaction button, I know. Sally the only one voting. Everyone else is too focused on their crafting and getting it finished. Well, I like the Coastal Cabana as well, Sally, but actually I do like the white as well, actually. I think they're both really pretty. So anyway, that is our first card, so that's fantastic. So we're going to put this one to one side, and we're going to work on our second card, which is this one. So this is a really nice simple one. Oh, we've got a plethora of emojis now. Heart, can't find the emoji. I love it, Dee. Yeah, this one, Coastal Cabana, beautiful. I agree. Coastal Cabana wins. Okay. So our second card is going to be this one, and you will have one whole sheet of Granny Apple Green, and you can either cut it this way, which gives you a tent fold card, or if you hate tent folds and you really would prefer to have a normal sized card that opens this way round, you can do that. But whatever shape you decide, or whatever style of card you decide you're going to go for, you're going to need the second half for your other card that we're going to make tonight. So whatever you go for, whether it's a tent fold or whether it's your standard, you know, opening that way, kind of side hinge card, you're going to need to have the same for both because you're going to cut one sheet in half. But this is the one that we're going to make first. So let's get started with a sheet to begin with of, no, that's lemon lime twist. Let's get the right colour, that'll be good. Here we are, a sheet of granny apple green. And you're also going to need your garden green, which is the dark green colour. And you're going to need some paper as well. But let's get the card base started, done first. And then we'll worry about the rest, okay? So my two have been tent fold, but I'm going to do these two with the hinge on the left-hand side. So I'm going to put the short side of the card in at the top. And I'm going to score at 10.5 centimetres. So score at 10.5 centimetres with the short side at the top, and then turn it around, and I'm going to cut at 14.9 centimetres. And that will give me my two card bases. While I'm here cutting card, so I'm only going to need one of those card bases, so I'll get the other one out of the way. While I'm here cutting card, I'm also going to cut this granny apple green piece, put the long side in the top, and you're going to need a piece that measures 9 centimetres. And that will give us a nice border. So a piece that measures 9 centimetres. You can get rid of the rest of the granny apple green. And then let's find the pretty papers. And for the papers, you're going to need one of the pieces that's got this on it. So it actually, you've got a big white space. You'll have this will be slightly smaller, but you'll have a white space and then a pattern around the outside. What's clever about this is that you can turn it round different ways and it actually still looks okay. So if you've not got the same corner as me, in fact, you can do it either corner. So mine has got the pattern on this side, on the right hand side, but I'm going to do it reverse. So the pattern comes out on the left-hand side instead. So you want a piece of your patterned paper that has a white space as well as some patterning on. And you're going to need a piece that is 8.3 centimetres in width, sorry. And then again, 14.9. So that it fills the whole card. So let me show you. So then when you put it up on top of your garden green, you will get a border. So let me get that out. Wait a minute. So for this card, for my sample, my pattern is on the right hand side. But for the one that I'm going to make now, because of the paper that I've got in my kit, my pattern is going to be on the left hand side instead, because it absolutely doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Okay, so your card measured 9 centimetres and your patterned paper measured 8.3 centimetres width. Okay, we'll worry about your lily of the valley and the leaves and all the rest of it in a moment. Let's just get this base done first. So I'll leave the card there. So you're going to fold your base in half like normal, give it a good crisp fold, just like normal. And then you need to stick your patterned paper to your garden green first. It's got a nice check on the back as well, actually, this paper. So you've got, you know, you have got a lot of options with these papers in terms of what you can use them for. And I'm just going to stick it so that we've got a nice clean line at the top and the same width all the way down. And then I'm going to stick that flat down onto the card. Okay. You can use any adhesive for this. I like to use Seal because it's just quick and easy. But equally, if you're a tape person, if you're, you know, it doesn't matter at this point. It's really only when you get to kind of construction or fiddly bits that it matters more what glue you're using. So there we go. That's your pattern paper base. Then you're going to need to find some flowers. So you're going to need green leaves. And you need 2 green leaves. That will leave you with only 1 green leaf, and that is intentional because you only need 1 green leaf for your final project. And you might want to use your mesh on this card. You can if you want to. Or you can save it for the final card. And you need 1 of your green leaf bases. And then you also need a whole load of your little Lily of the Valley bells to go on top. Now, you should have enough Lily of the Valley bells to cover 2 stems with 2 left over. So let's see if these have all been counted out, so I know that they're in everybody's packs. So be careful, because when I finished the in-person class last week, I found lots of bells on the floor. So be careful. If you think you haven't got enough bells, the chances are they are on the floor or stuck to another part of your project, or they are around somewhere. Because as we have discovered through our own experience, they walk around. Don't ask me how, but they do. So you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bells, okay? So you should have 16 bells in your kit. So you should have plenty. So make sure you put all the remaining bells safely back in. Okay, across the bottom corner there. Okay, then you need to grab your leaves and decide which way is up and which way is down on your leaves, and you're going to put your leaves on kind of like that. So you need to just get some glue on the back, just a couple of blobs, and I bet this isn't going to work. Oh no, it is. There's a little bit still coming out. And be careful with your leaves that you don't put too much glue on, because they've got cuts in the leaves, so you will find that the glue will come through the holes if you're not careful. Oops. So just be careful that you don't go kind of too mad with the glue, I would say. So stick those both on. Then you're going to put your green complete piece of Lily of the Valley. So this is like the underneath layer that will then become, you'll have your stem and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put glue on the back of the little petals and stick them down. Now on my sample I put 2 Lily of the Valleys, but you've only got 1 in your kit, I'm afraid. Again, at this point was losing the will to live with cutting out so many pieces. So now I'm going to put my little blobs of glue on these petals, and then I'm going to show you so that you can see how little glue I've actually got on here. You see that? Just one tiny little blob on the end of each of these petals. Hardly anything at all. That's the other thing I'm finding at the moment as well, is that the glue dries really quickly when you're doing projects with the heat. So turn your petals over, line the kind of stem up. Doesn't matter if it crosses over your leaves or that it kind of wants to go in one direction or another, that's absolutely fine. Press those petals down. Your stem will jump up in the air, that's okay. If you've decided you are going to put some twine or ribbon on, now's the time to add the twine or ribbon and then add your sentiment. Okay, so might add one of these actually. Yep, I'm going to add another one of these. What sentiment should we have this time? In fact, I might even use both those sentiments and stamp the happy birthday but cut it up. Why not? Can I get the happy birthday on here? Yep, I think I can. I can get the happy on one and the birthday on the other. Let's try that, shall we? Let's try and see what we can do. So I'm going to split my sentiment. So I'm going to stamp a happy bit first. So I've literally just inked the happy end. And then to make sure that I don't go into the birthday bit as well, I'm going to grab a bit of Post-it note. I'm going to stick Post-it note over the birthday bit and around the edge of the block so that I don't stamp it by accident. And then, where's my stamping pad? Get my stamping mat back in. And just stamp the happy in the middle there. There we go. So I've got happy on that one. And then I'm going to change. Let's put the ink on first. I'm going to put the ink on the birthday end. But to make sure that I don't stamp happy again, I'm going to cover the happy over with a bit of Post-it note. Bring my stamping mat in. Oop, let's get it around the right way so I can see what it reads. Get the birthday bit in there. There we go. And then the happy has come out on the Post-it note, see? Clever, eh? Clever, clever. Can you do that technique on any stamps? If you want to split the sentiment, maybe you've got thanks a million or something like that, and all you want is the thanks bit. You can cover the end that you don't want to stamp on your bit of card, cover it with a bit of Post-it note, and there you go. So I still haven't put my petals on yet. I'm going to do those last of all. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to add my sentiment, and I am going to stick that on pads again, just to get a bit of dimension there. And this will look a little bit different to my original card, but that's all good. And then I've used all of those punched pieces, which would be nice. And these are all the colours from the paper suite, so they're not colours that I've kind of randomly selected. These are all from the papers. There we go. And then the only thing remaining to do is to put the little bells on. So what I'm going to do with the bells is I am going to put the glue on the green bells first. Again, same amount as what I put on the back, hardly anything, but just enough to make sure that those bells are going to stick. And then I'm going to use this little natty tool again, take a pick tool, and I'm going to use the putty end. No, that's got a bit too much putty poking out, so I'm going to chop a little bit off actually. It's kind of come out a bit. Needs a bit of a trim. And I'm going to use the putty end to pick up my bell and stick my bell down on top. this is a fantastic tool. If you don't have one of these, you absolutely need one in your kit. It's just brilliant. You can pick up bling with it. You can pick up all kinds of little bits and pieces. The leftover bits of dimensionals, all kinds of stuff you can pick up with this. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Which way round the bells are? Make sure I'm getting them the right way round for me. One final one down the bottom there. Stops you getting gluey, stops the bling, or in this case the bells, from sticking to your fingers. It just makes it so much easier. So there we go. And then let's go back to our bling again. Going to add some of that granny apple green bling this time. Oh, I'm going to use the other end, so I'm going to use the pokey tool on the other end and add a bit of bling. Where shall I put the other one? Just put it down here on the petal. There we go. Going to add some bling to this one as well, actually, while I'm here. Might as well add some the other way. There we go. There we go. So that's card number 2. A left-handed and a right-handed version, if you like. Okay, right, let's have a little bit of a sort out moment while you're just finishing that card off. Just clean this stamp, get rid of the happy birthday ink. I'll get a bit of a tidy up in a minute. And then we will go for our final card tonight, which is our fault line card, which we will do a step at a time so that everybody can keep up. How is everybody getting on? Are you still with me? Everybody all right? Give me some thumbs up if you're still with me and everything is fine in your corner. Hopefully it is. Right, let's just move the scissors out of the way. Is everybody ready to move on to the last card? If you're ready to move on, give me some thumbs up. Or any emoji, D, if you can't find a thumbs up. Yay, brilliant. Okay, right. So for this final card, you're going to need, let's move these out of the way a minute. You're going to need, so this is the fault line card that we're going to do. So you're going to need your other card base that you already cut. You're going to need the rest of your dark green, garden green card. And then you're also going to need that piece of embossed paper that's in your little plastic bag of goodies. As before, let's not worry about all the little bits and pieces. Let's do the card base first. So leave your petals and your bells and all that stuff in the bag so that you don't lose them. And then you can pretty much choose whatever paper you want to go in the fault line. So have a look at the papers that you've got and see which one you think you would like in the gap, if you like. Just have a little look, rummage through here what I've got left and see what I like the look of. That might be a possible. That's the other side. That might be a possible. That's a different one. That's a full piece. Oh, that's just plain green. I don't want that. No, 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 no. That could be. That's the same. No, okay, right, I'm going to go with that one, I think. Nice and busy to go in the gap. Different pattern to what I used before, so we'll have a go at that one. Okay, so once you've chosen your patterned paper and you've got all your pieces, the first thing you're going to do is fold and crease your card base. So if you've got a tent fold, then that's fine. It's just exactly the same, whichever fold you decided to go with. Okay, so you've got your card base. Then you're also going to need your piece of embossed card. And what you're going to do with this and with your piece of garden green card is you're going to tear it in half, okay? But you're going to tear it in half, not across the middle as a straight line. You're going to tear it in half at an angle like that, okay? Now, have a look at the pattern first and decide which way up you want it. So I want mine that way up because I want the bells hanging down. And which bit of the card you really, really want to retain. Because if you look at my sample, although we've got a large piece of card, actually we're not going to use very much of it because this has been torn from this. So in actual fact, the piece that I actually ended up using was only kind of half the size of your card front. So just have a good look at it before you start tearing and make sure that you're really happy with the bit that you've chosen to be in your card, and don't miss out on a vital bit if you love it and want it to be in your card and then discover that you've torn it off and then we're going to cut away all the waste afterwards, okay? You'll still be able to use those pieces for other cards, but for this particular card, you're going to only need a fraction of it. So once you've decided which bit of the picture of the pattern you're going to use, turn it round so you've got the long side at the top, and you're going to hold your card firm with your left hand, and then with your right hand you're going to come down about an inch from the top, and then you're going to tear diagonally across the card till you're about probably 3 inches down. And your tearing movement is going to be done with your right hand, okay? So you hold the card firm in your left hand and then begin tearing towards you. So you can see all the movement is happening in my right hand, and my left hand isn't doing much at all. It's just holding the card firm, okay? And that's all you need to do. So that's your top and bottom tears. And you need to do exactly the same with your garden green. So you'll come in about an inch in from the top, exactly the same. Hold it firm with your left hand, tear down with your right hand, okay? Again, remember which is top and bottom. And then you can actually move your card base out of the way for a moment. What you're going to do is you're going to start to line it up. Now, it doesn't matter that one piece of card is bigger than the other, or that that your fault lines, your tear lines don't match up. All of that is irrelevant. What you want is a bit of green showing underneath your white, okay? And that's what you want. So once you can see that you've got that, stick your white onto your green. And I'm going to do it using, again, using wet glue. Just be careful, you don't need to stick the entire piece of white. You only need the kind of top couple of inches really, or the bottom couple of inches in this case for the bottom bit. So just line it up. So I haven't stuck it all the way down, just stuck like along the fault line edge really. The same the other side. It's really helpful if you can square off one of the edges, because that will help you when you then come to assemble the whole of this card with your pattern paper and everything. So same again, I'm just going to stick a bit of glue along the fault line just to kind of keep it in place. As I stick it all down, if I can get some more glue out of this, that will be really good. Come on. Might need a bit more glue on the top piece than you do on the bottom piece. I think that glue might have had it now. I'm going to have to resort to my next one. There we go. And stick that. So again, you just want to level it up on one edge. Just level it up on one edge. There we go. See, I've put too much glue, and I'm going to have to wipe some of that off now. I'm going to wipe it off of there before it gets everywhere, and wipe it off of my card before it gets everywhere. So that's the top and bottom of my fault line, and then all I need to do now is to have this piece of pattern paper go in the middle. So in terms of measurements, the easiest way to do this is that you cut your patterned paper as a first layer size, okay? So let's move all these bits out of the way for a moment. Bring in the trimmer again and just cut it as first layer size. That's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to cut it, make sure if it's directional, make sure you've got the paper up the right way. So it will be, the length will be 14.3 by 9.9. And then I know that I've got to cover my fault line has to cover this piece of patterned paper. So I'll show you what I mean. So so this is first layer size. So if I were to just put that on the card, it would give me first layer with a little border around the outside. So that's the bit that I'm going to put the fault line on. And so I want a bit covering the top here. And I want a bit covering the bottom, but I do want that gap in the middle with the pattern. You can also, if you're not happy with your fault line, you're tearing, you can twist it at this point. I'm going to do that actually to get a little bit more of the pattern in. If you want more white or you want more whatever you want, you can do that. Twist it, because once you've glued all this down, you're then going to turn it over and you're going to trim it to the size of that patterned paper. Okay, so that is the easiest thing to do. So I'm now going to take my glue out again, and I'm just going to glue over the bit that I want. I might have to get rid of my grid paper after this, but that's okay. Turn it over or whatever. If it's too gluey, it'll be fine. Just going to add a load of glue on the back of this so that it covers. Just make sure that you've got your edges of your patterned paper covered. You don't want to lose your edges. And then hopefully it's not completely stuck. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of, I'll fold over my grid paper a moment so that I don't glue my card to it. There we go, that's got rid of the glue. And then, so you can see, this was good paper to choose actually because it's really, really bright on the back. You can see that my patterned paper now, it just needs, it all needs trimming off to make sure that I have got no overlapping bits. So I'm actually going to get my, I don't know if everybody else does this, I've got a pair of scissors that are a bit gluey, and then it doesn't matter if I get glue on them. I have got some cleaning stuff that I clean them off with every once in a while, but when I'm cutting things like this, it doesn't matter though if I get glue stuck on the scissors. So I'm just trimming this from the back to make sure that it now comes out the right size completely. Just going around the edges and just tidying it up. Just be careful if you've got lots of layers to go through of card. Take the bits off your scissors as you go round so you don't get any kind of fluffy bits. Get nice clean cuts and everything. Just be careful that you don't tear the embossed card by accident as you go round. Just neatening this up. I'm sure there's a lot more precise way of doing this, but this is the easiest way. And I'm all for ease in card making and making it simple if we possibly can. And then once you've trimmed it all from the back, you can turn it over and there is your fault line ready to assemble. Perfect. Perfect. So then you can stick it to the front of your card with a border around the outside. And you can make sure that it's really stuck down fast this time. Really solid. There we go. Turn that bit over now. So we've got different measurements all over the place. There we go. So at this point, once you've got your fault line completely done, look, I've just found another petal that was stuck on my t-shirt. That just goes to show they get absolutely everywhere, these little bells. Yeah, once you've got to this point, if you want to add some twine, if you want to add your meshy bit, if you haven't added your meshy bit, you can dig those bits out and you can start doing those. If not, then you've just got what I've got remaining, which is one leaf, one stem, and a whole load of petals. A whole load of little bells to go on the top. So I've got one leaf, and actually my stem, one stem, my stem has a petal missing at the top, look. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to cover it over with a bell anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I've got one leaf, stem, sorry, one leaf, and a whole load of bells. And then I shall need to find a sentiment at some point to go on the bottom. So I've got all these remaining bells. Not going to need all of them, but we'll get them all out so that I can. I think there's a couple of different sizes in the bells, but I personally don't think it really matters which size you stick on top of which stem, which bell. I don't think it makes any difference at all. But lots to choose from. So I'm going to stick the stem and I'm going to stick the petal, the stem and the leaf I'm going to stick down flat using wet glue. So same technique as before, one little dab of glue on the back of each of these petals that are attached to the stem. Put it where I want it to be, and then you've only got to press down the actual petals. There we go. Just hold them for a minute so that they stay put. And then the same with your leaf. Curl it up the other way. There we go. And you can do this fault line card with any embossing folder, or you could have a piece of patterned paper on the top instead of embossed card. You can do it with any patterned paper in the fault line, in the gap, whatever works for you really. And then the white bells, again, just going to add some glue to each of the bells. A little bit up there. And then get my natty little take a pick tool again to help me to pick them up. And see which way up they go. Stick them on the top. Just have to hold them in place for a second as they're drying. Come on, the other way around. So just add in the bells on top. Last one. Okay. I've got plenty of bells left over for another one. I think you should probably only have 2 left over, I think. If you've got more than 2, count yourself lucky, I would say. I'm going to put these back in here so I do not lose them before I need to make another card. And then that will mean I don't have to cut hundreds of bells out. Bet your life that when I go to bed tonight, I should find a bell stuck in my bra or something. That's fact. There we go. Okay, and then you can add a little bit more bling if you want to. Let's go with the white on this one. I think white on white is quite a nice look, actually. I quite like it. There we go. There we go. And then I just need a sentiment to go across the bottom there, which I will do later. So that is your third and final card, which is the fault line card. There we go. How's everybody got on with that one? Was it easier than you thought, harder than you thought? Did everyone come out with a fault line at the end? Everybody happy with these? I think these are, these papers are absolutely stunning. I absolutely love these papers. Just so pretty. Like, I love the freshness of the green. Really beautiful. Yeah, lovely cards. Thank you, Sally. Yeah, lots of thumbs up. Yeah, they're nice, aren't they? Right, I've got some other designs to show you then. So those are the ones that we are going to make together tonight. So let's put those to one side. And I want to show you some other designs. I'm going to move my paper out of the way so I've got lots of space for these. So this is a design, I think it's called a shadow box card or something like that. This is a design using 1-inch squares, and we're actually going to we are going to do this design with the papers that we will use in August. So we are going to do this card, but not until August, with some different papers. Okay, so that's one. This is really great because you can let the papers, you can mix and match the papers and really kind of let them speak for themselves. Got background paper there, I haven't put sentiment on that one yet. This one's really easy, using 1-inch strips. So that's front and back of 2 different of the papers. So that's dead simple as well. The same again, using 2 different papers. This one you can see the, just move these up a minute. Yeah, you can see with this one that the pattern is, I've cut into 3 different sections, but it was one pattern all the way down, one image, and I've just cut it up into the 3 different sections, and then layered it on top of some green card. Again, another one of the patterned papers as the background, really easy. Same with that one, just layered a couple of different kinds. So, and then I've got 3 other different sorts just to show you very quickly. So let me just move these ones out of the way a minute. So I said you've got some white foiled card in your kit, and that is the white foiled card as a background to the pattern paper. So this is all part of the same suite. So this is white, and it's not even silver. I think it is actually white foiling almost, or it might be just very light silver if it is. So that's one example of what you can do with it. But you can also colour it. So you've got 3 different designs on that patterned card, foiled card as well. And this is using a blending brush, just like we did for the first card tonight, but colouring that paper over. So colouring that card over with blending brush. That's another way to, same effect with the blending brush. And you can have whole big pieces like this, or strips like this, and then mount more of your patterned paper over the top. Again, this is the same idea. This was a single image, cut it into 3 strips. This one's the same idea, single image, cut it into 4 squares. So just different ways to use that pattern paper. This foiled card, you can also colour it using blends as well. So you could colour it in, there's one of the sheets has got these, the images of the lily of the valley on there. So you could colour it using pens if you wanted. So that's another idea. And then one of the other ideas I have for you is this one, which is, I've got to get these right, otherwise it won't look right. Right, there we go. So this is 4 cards, all cut out of a single piece of 6 by 6. There we go. So this is 4 separate cards, but this sheet here is a sheet of patterned paper that was cut. So a sheet of 6 by 6 patterned paper, excuse me, that was cut up, and a sheet of white card that was also cut out for the border. And it is the simplest thing to do. You've got a photograph of this on the email that I sent everybody. But what you need to do is you get your sheet of 6 by 6 patterned paper, and from each corner, measuring down, you measure 1.5 inches in. So that measurement there is 1.5 inches. That measurement there is 1.5 inches. That measurement there is 1.5 inches, and that measurement there is 1.5 inches. And then you join your 1.5 inches together and cut them. And that's how you get your 4 pieces of patterned paper that you can then make 4 cards with. Now, if you've got non-directional paper that hasn't got a right way and wrong way up, then of course you can put these, you can assemble these in any of the corners of your cards. If you've got directional paper, which this is, then you've got to be a bit more careful about which corner you put each of the cards in. But the best way to assemble them once you've cut your pieces is to put your bit of 6x6 back together again, and then lay the card bases over the top, so you know which goes with the which, or which way round you want it to be on your card or whatever. But that's a really simple way to use a quarter of a sheet all in one go. Incidentally, these are some of the stamped images from the stamp set that I've coloured using blends. I used a little pink to top these, a little bit of pink on the top of these, but yeah, so those are also some of the stamped images that you can colour. So that's really easy. So that's another little technique for you. Like I say, that's all on the email. And then finally, I've got a wow card for you, which is a little fancy fold. That's that one. So it stands up on its own like that. And you've got a front, a middle, and a back. Really cute little card. 3 pieces, so a bit to write on. And this is using the Everyday Arches set. Need to put more glue on the back of it, I think. The tape's come off. But yeah. And this, the sentiment border, is one of the Everyday Arches turned sideways. So they are layering arches. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. So that's, I love this set as well. Really, really lovely, isn't it? So there you go. So that's some card ideas. Let me show you what we're making next month. So you are prepared. And like I said, if you want to join me with a kit in the post next month, then I really, really, really need you to sign up on the link in the email that will come tomorrow. Or you will, if you're on the mailing list, you'll have already had the link in the email on a previous email that was sent last week. But so these are some of the cards that we are going to make next month. And these are beautiful. And a little box as well. And I've got several different things that I'm going to kind of share with you with these cards. So this paper, you won't be able to see this very well. And this is why it's so important. You need a kit, really. It's flocked, like flocked wallpaper. So when you rub your finger over the top of it, you can feel it's kind of fluffy. You can just see it a little bit there, I think, that it is flocked paper. Let's find another one. Where is it flocked on this one? So just on the white, it's a bit flocked there. And on the white there. It's really pretty. This one is flocked a lot on the white all over. I don't know if you can see that on the edge in there. Gorgeous, gorgeous papers. Really lovely. Also got some really pretty bling that goes with it because they're little flowers. You're also going to get one of these little boxes to make up, a little pizza box as well. But it's got a scalloped window on it. So because of that, and in honour of that, I decided to use the new scalloped circle dies. So you're going to get some pieces of the scalloped circle dies cut out. What you will need to find, you'll also get a bit of the ribbon in the new in colour as well, new green in colour. What you will need to find, though, that will go with this suite, I'll give you all of those bits in your kit, but you will need to find some little butterflies to go with it. So either a stamp, or you might have some die cut butterflies already in your kit, or you might have little brass butterflies. I mean, you can make them without the butterflies and just add extra little cards, little flowers or whatever, but it just looks really pretty with those extra little butterflies. The reason I've put butterflies on is because that is a new bundle of stamped butterflies and a butterfly punch as well that goes with it. This card's got a secret inside, and I'm not going to show you what's inside because we're going to make it. So if you want to know what's inside this one, you'll need to join me for that one. The other bit of flocking is we've also got pink, white and the green you can just see of the leaves that also coordinates with this suite, that are plain sheets of 12 by 12 that are also flocked. So it's like felt almost, beautiful, and you can use those. And I'm going to suggest that you only use the pink when you'll get a sheet of pink, white, a sheet of white and a sheet of green in your kit, but I am going to suggest that you only use the sheet of pink, because you can then keep the green flocking and the white flocking for your Christmas cards. You're welcome. So that is what we're going to be making next month. Some of these beautiful cards, really, really pretty. If you want to see it in a bit more detail, let me get the catalogue. It is on page... So the scalloped dies are in this suite here, down the bottom here. Scalloped blooms bundle, that's the scalloping that we're going to be using. And so are the little boxes. But the papers, there they are, the papers themselves is called Velvet Meadow, and it's on page 32, or you can see it online if you prefer. But you can also see then all the matching colours that go with it as well, so that you can pull out of your kit colours that will also match this suite. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing at the end of this month. So I'm saying next month, I mean next time. So that will be the end of July. I think it's the 30th, I want to say the 30th. Anyway, all the details are in the email, so do have a look at that. Okay, let me just... Let's turn you around again. Oop. Come on, come back. Oh, no, there we go. Had you and lost you. Sorry about that. Okay, so, yeah, hopefully you've had a lovely evening. I'm really glad that we put it off last week. I'm really glad we put it off last week. I hope you felt the same. And, yeah, we've had lots of fun crafting. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you've got any questions, or do send me photos of what you've made. I'd love to see what you've made. And yeah, look out for the final reminder email. Again, it's coming out tomorrow for the last time. If you want to join me for the beautiful flocked cards at the end of this month, then you will need to sign up and pay at the latest tomorrow. Please do that. That'd be great. Okay. Thanks everybody. See you soon. Bye bye.